Hello and welcome to another stream. I am Brian, the Unskilled Commander, and this is Who's That Creator, where I showcase a Magic the Gathering content creator, big or small, so that you don't miss out on some really awesome Magic content. And you get to learn a little bit about the creator behind the content. Today I am joined by the very fun and very cool Benji the Brewer. So, to start off with, we're just going to jump into the low-hanging fruit question that everyone's sick of whenever they do streams. And I'm going to drop your link tree in the chat as well so that people can follow you on stuff. But tell everybody who you are, what you do, and where they can find you.
Yeah, this is my typical intro. I did it on Bruce Salt Factory, and Bruce snorted laughing. So I guess I'm doing something right. Hi, I'm Benji the Brewer. You can find me all the places where you can find Benji the Brewer. None of the places that you can't. I'm an EDH deck brewer. I do a stream called Brewing with Benji that happens weekly every Tuesday. Speaking of, at 8 p.m. Eastern, I have a couple of guests on. We spin a few wheels, figure out what the heck we're brewing, and then we have 60 minutes to brew it. If you like EDH deck brewing, if you like Chaos, you should check that out. But I just expanded like my Twitch schedule. So I'm now streaming gameplay on Mondays at 9 p.m. Eastern, brewing on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, gameplay on Fridays at 6 p.m. Eastern, and then solo brewing Sundays at 10 a.m. Eastern. And the solo brewing is pretty cool. There's no wheels, there's no gimmicks. Chat just tells me what to build. Cool. And then I build it. So the most recent one we did was Prom and Rayhan with an Obosh partner that was built around All Will Be One.
Oh, okay.
Don't know if it does anything, but people seem to like it. But yeah, that's me and all of my stuff.
All right. Thank you for that. So, but with what you were saying, and of course your name, Benji the Brewer, I wanted to ask, what was it about deck building that drew you in to use that as a relative focus of your content?
So, yeah, okay. There are two different ways to answer this question.
Okay.
And I'm going to give you both of them.
Sure.
So, first and foremost is I started playing Magic. And this may be another question that you're asking. I actually did zero prep work so I could be surprised by your questions. Okay. Rather than, because if I knew about them ahead of time and knew what they were, I was going to start to like pre-plan my answer, which would like screw it up for me. So yeah.
No, just let it go. And if you answer another question, I will just not ask that question. And
just cross it off. Yeah,
it's fine.
I will adapt. I started playing Magic back in Revised. And it was fun. I liked it. You know, I liked opening packs. I liked seeing the cards. The art was fantastic. It felt nice to play Magic with other people. However, there was no commander. And if you wanted to have a deck that would function and win, you needed play sets of cards. And I hate that. It is such a restriction to deck building. When you have to have, like, I know that sounds crazy, but when you have to own multiple copies of powerful cards to make a deck work. It just frustrates me. So cut to 2019 when I came back to Magic, because I quit around Ravnica or Lorwyn.
Okay.
And my friend had told me about Commander. Well, EDH, Elder Dragon, Highlander. Right. I keep almost saying hijinks.
Right, so easy to do that.
Well, see what you've done to us. And they told me about the Singleton thing, and then also the color identity thing, and I thought both of those were really fascinating. And it's so funny that that's kind of at the core of like this whole hybrid banner thing right now, because I'm like, well, that is essentially why I got into Commander, why I got back into Magic. And what really fuels me when I brew. Because I'm like, wait, I can take any legendary creature and make a deck around it. Like, that's insane. That's crazy. I love that. But then I started to like, I don't know. I look at cards in the 99 now and I'm like, well, I want to build a deck around that.
Right.
Because the Commander is too easy. But the other answer to this is I really like alliteration. And so when I was like getting into the idea of streaming or doing content, I was like, what do I do here? What's the secret sauce? How do I make this something that's easy, something that's not overcommitting, something that's not misleading or selling the wrong product, essentially.
Right.
Because I've had a habit of doing this. So I used to DJ. Remember when I said I could yap? Anyways, I used to DJ.
We'll connect the dots as we go. It's all right.
Yeah. I would so one thing that bars like you to do as a DJ is promote your own event. And I'm like, you're the venue. Please promote me. Anyways, I would make the events or try to make these like recurring events. And I would come up with what I thought was a cute or clever name. And people always misunderstood what it was because I was trying to be too clever. So when I was approaching this, I was like, okay, let's keep it short. Let's keep it sweet. Let's keep it concise. All the things I'm not doing in this instant. And so, yeah, it just sort of tied the two things together. What really inspired me about content isn't super related to that, but I do love to make decks. I don't do it as much as some other notable people. Like Ms. Bobby Christine is brewing all day long. I don't think I can brew that way. I look at decks as like a problem to solve.
Right.
And I enjoy it from that aspect. And so that is, in more words than you probably wanted, my answer.
That's the answer. That's not more or less than we need because it's the answer to the question.
Right. It's the exact right amount.
Exactly. So in that vein, then, what is it that... So we know, like, just building is fun. You like to see that, like, oh, here's an interesting commander, spark some creativity. But what are the criteria to really get you excited and like get you chomping at the bit to build a deck? Is it a challenge? Is it oh man, this doesn't look like a commander that could work, I want to fix that? Or is it, oh, this deck has so many restrictions on it that gets me like so fired up to solve that problem? Or is it something the opposite? I was like, you just like, oh, this commander needs big dumb creatures, I fucking love that, let's just go. Like, so what pulls you in to a deck more than another deck?
I don't have a blanket answer for that, because for each deck I can tell you why I was inspired to build it, but I don't I
like that, JJ.
That's funny. That's really
That'll be the
funny.
next question. Can Benji brew a deck so hot even he can't touch it?
Yeah, no, I probably could. We call that CEDH because I don't own those cards. Yeah, no. So I'm going to give an example.
Okay, sure.
Which is, I'm just going to grab it. It's my damn light. Blink and you lose your pants. It's my Pant Laza deck.
Okay.
And the name is relevant. This deck is a blink deck. There's no Pant Laza is the only dinosaur. And would it, I guess it probably wouldn't surprise you, but would it surprise you to learn that that deck was inspired by a Twitter poll?
Okay, that is cool. I didn't know that.
So sometimes I just want, thank you. Sometimes I just want an external source to like direct me towards something. I'm also doing the 32 deck challenge, which means, a deck in each available color identity.
Right.
Which I'm not done with. I have over 50 decks right now. I'm not done with it.
Wow.
It's because WotC keeps printing these 4-color legendaries that are everything but black. And the hero colors, and they're not giving us more toys to play with in the other color combinations.
Right.
But yeah, so like that one was a Twitter poll. I had put up a bunch of options and people selected the one that said build a deck around Quintorius Khan, so the Planeswalker Quint, which cared about casting spells from exile. And I was like, oh, what could I do with that? And it ended up becoming this weird blink deck where Discover 4 is the engine. It's a lot of fun. It kills people with impact tremors. But then if you were to ask me about my inspiration for my DK deck, which is currently on the chopping block, but still I have it.
Okay, gotcha.
It's because I really liked the idea of attractions being artifacts on the battlefield. So each deck has its own I don't want to say unique inspiration, but definitely its own inspiration that is sort of tied to that time in which I decided to brew it.
Okay, that makes sense. Like, so it's not nothing, generally speaking, like there's no major, this is going to do it. Like, you know, it's just, it's in the moment, and the commander itself is what inspires you more than others.
Well, it's even that's variable, because I have a Vial Smasher and Sidra Kondo deck that is built around the idea of giving Extus from Strixhaven access to green. So the commanders just ended up being the color identity givers in that instance. So it's so variable. I also did this whole Final Fantasy deck project where I made 21 Final Fantasy decks, because those were all of the available color identities within Final Fantasy.
Wow. Awesome.
And a lot of those decks came from like people in the community who I was like, challenge me to build a Final Fantasy deck, and so they did, and so I built it.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, it's really just anything. It's just something in that moment has to go, that's cool.
Okay, that makes total sense.
Yeah. I like it. It's fun. Something that inspires me in one situation could be very boring in another.
Right.
I'm very fickle.
All right, so switching gears a little bit. So your other sort of branded, if you want to call it that, stuff, and I was just on it yesterday's stream, is the Benji's Breakdown, which is a lot of fun, where, for those that don't know, you know, throughout the game, multiple times, you know, 2-3 times, the game will stop, and all of the participants will break down what they feel is not necessarily just the threat of the board state, but just the board state in general. What are you seeing on the board state, and then kind of analyze it for a little bit, and then get back to the game, and then there's post-game analysis of like, oh, what could we have done different, like all that kind of stuff. So the question I have for you is, how important do you feel game analysis is during play for just like kitchen table, a bunch of friends? Like, how important do you think should you be doing it constantly? Is it like, you know, the more casual the setting, it's like, just play the game and have fun and don't overanalyze, or middle ground?
I think it's always important. So I'm gonna answer this by, again, starting from an earlier point, which is that I'm very salty. And I've taken great steps to like change that about myself, so that I am more enjoyable, but I also have more fun.
Right.
And one of the things that really salted me when I was going to my LGS was people counterspelling the dumbest shit. And I'm like, why are you let someone cast an Eldrazi, but my dumb mid-range commander that basically impacts you 0, you're countering? Like, what are you doing?
Yep.
I am so far behind. And they're like, oh, it just scares me. I'm like, okay, all right, cool. Glad we had this talk.
Right.
So when I was looking at like what could the unique identity of my gameplay stream be, I thought back to those instances where I was like, okay, someone made a decision during a game, or made multiple decisions during a game, that felt like they were misinformed or uninformed. And it just feels like such an area that people are not, I don't want to say people, like not all people.
Right. No, I get you.
But that in general, it's a skill, it's a muscle. And the more you work on your threat assessment, the better your games will be, no matter how casual they are. And I would say the more casual they are, the more important it is to be able to threat assess, so that you can avoid causing salt and just make informed decisions. Especially if like you're up against a new player, right?
Right.
You want to be able to explain, like, hey, this isn't an instance where like another player is bullying you. This is an instance where I'm going to explain why it is I made this decision, so that like you know, going forward, if you play this deck again and someone targets your shit, there's a reason.
Right.
And you should absolutely not be upset about it.
Mm-hmm.
If someone's removing your shit, that's a compliment. Or it should be.
Yeah.
So that's sort of the impetus for that idea. But also I just really like talking about it. It's fun.
Yeah, and it was fun to be on that because, like I said last night, I am very bad at threat assessment because I just don't know all of the different ways the cards, like, I'm not as well versed on the obvious. Oh, that's a piece that's gonna get this, and like, oh, that's on the field. This artifact, it's great for that kind of deck that person has. Oh, they get a bounce deck and they've got this card out. That's huge. Where I'm just like, oh, it's a 3/2 creature. Okay, I don't. It's not scary. But like, no, it is scary. You should like. I'm like, all right, I don't know. So that's definitely something I need to work on.
Hexproof unblockable. We were like, oh,
yeah, and that's a good point. Like I'm glad we had those discussions yesterday because I would have started to feel a little salty because of the way it was like, I have 2 1/1s on the fields, guys. I haven't cast my commander. I haven't done shit yet. And everyone, like all 3 of you were saying like, Brian's the problem. I'm like, how the hell am I the problem? But then the next turn I was able to cast my commander and they started getting counters. And it's like, okay, I guess I can see what they were saying at the moment of the board state. Like, yeah, I guess, I shouldn't, get upset about that. But it's just like, cause I've been kicked out of a game super quick for no real reason whatsoever, and then it's like you sit there for half an hour while the game keeps going. So when I get targeted early or a lot, I start to get like, god damn it, leave me alone, I'm trying to freaking play. And
that's that comes back to like, that's why I think it's important to be able to threat assess and also talk about it. Because it made a big difference. I think
it did,
especially when you saw like you saw what you had when we started talking about it, and then when Cass board wiped, like you're like, oh yeah, that should have happened.
Oh, I have a creature that's like almost 2020. Yeah, okay, I guess
half people's life,
like 3 turns later, 2 turns later.
And that's, I think, a large part of threat assessment, and that's what we were talking about, is it's not scary now. It's what you can accomplish with that, or with that card, or with those cards. And that's why I was like, I had to point out the Ocelot as well, because I'm like, you're gonna get a lot of counters here, buddy.
yeah, absolutely.
And that's why Cass was like full on like, oh, Benji's scary. You can draw so many cards, and most often the person who draws the most cards wins.
Sure.
Which is why, like, you look at cards in hand, you look at how many cards people can potentially draw, and of course, like, Cass is real worried about my card draw, and I was like, hey, I want more lands.
Right.
So I'm glad you had a good time. It was a really good game.
It was. It was really fun. All right. So next question. What prompted you to become an MTG content creator? Like, what was it that said, above and beyond just enjoying the gameplay and building decks, what made you say, hey, I want to do this, and then like put it on the internet and let, and start engaging with people and let people watch?
There's a lot of different things that sort of not culminated, but like the stars aligned, because certain different things were happening. So this is why I brought the prop, which was, I'll put it back here. You can see it. It's
there you go. Yeah.
Salt Streaker.
Little salty guy.
So coming back to, I am a salty player, and I have learned a lot of lessons through that salt, and through like navigating why I was so upset in those instances. And so for every instance in a game of Magic where I crash out or I'm salty, that is very likely not unique to me.
Right.
Other players are going to experience this. And so initially I was just like, okay, well, I'd like to share like what I'm learning, because I think what I'm learning is important and impactful. I don't want to say important. Well, I'm changing the world.
Right. Yeah. It's a cardboard Magic game, but yeah, I get what you're saying though. It's
impactful.
Yeah.
People could theoretically resonate with what I'm saying and turn that into better gameplay experiences for themselves. And then I started like hopping into people's chats more on Twitch, and there were two channels that there were three channels really that just all sort of gave me a chance to guest on their streams, and that guest opportunity was like, oh, wait a second, I could do this. And those channels were Rebel Gaming, aka Josh, and Alexis, Scruffy Nerford, aka Will, and then Jen and Donnie, aka the Filthy MTG Casuals.
Right.
So in that order. And they were all fantastic experiences. I love all of those people. And I was like, could I do that? And I was like, okay, yeah, let's do it. Let's give it a try. But I knew I wasn't going to be doing. I didn't want to start with gameplay. That felt lofty. So I just started brewing with Benji, and I was like, okay, what can I do here that feels unlike what you will see out there? And it's not even so much as like creating stuff that other people aren't doing. Like, it's not that calculated, but it was more like, what can I do that I would enjoy,
right?
That I think would be entertaining and would be worth sitting in for. And I like brewing, and that's sort of the whole thing. So that's what I went with. My first guess was actually Magic Mishamigo.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, we built a Demir Enchantress deck.
Okay.
That was super weird. It was super weird.
Yeah.
But very first brew. They've all started to blur together.
Right. Oh, of course. And how long was that ago?
That was beginning of 23.
Okay. Cool.
Good time.
All right. So if it was the beginning of 2023, roughly.
Yeah.
That means it's going on 3 years. So what motivates you to keep making Magic the Gathering content? The state of the world, state of your own life, everything, like, and doing content can be draining. It can become, once you get to a certain point, it stops being, oh, this is so goofy fun. It's like almost like a part-time job, regardless of whether you're getting any kind of money from anything, just doing it. So like, what makes you keep coming back? What, like, keep scheduling, keep showing up? And you just said earlier that you were expanding your number of streams per week. So clearly, the motivation is there. So
yeah, I love getting in people's heads, and that sounds bad. I like to learn why people think the way they do, why they make the decisions that they do. And honestly, this is also, it goes back to why I did the breakdown stream, was because I wanted to understand, like, why are you threat assessing the way you are? And then when you brew with me, I want to understand why you're brewing the way you are. Why are you putting in the amount of lands that you're putting in? What are your priorities when you're building? And those streams create connections in a way that I wasn't sure I was exactly prepared for. You spend an hour with someone building a deck together. I won't say you're friends,
right,
but you've shared this one-on-one experience that is, in front of an audience, but you're still bonding. And it's a really nice way to get to know people, and being able to interact with people, and being able to share this nerdy thing that I like to do with other people. It means a lot. More often than not, the reason why I stick with a game that I've picked up is because I found some form of community with it. So outside of Magic, for instance, like Pokemon, huge. You can typically very easily find people to talk with about Pokemon. I also play like Genshin Impact, and I found a small Discord server where I can talk to people about Genshin Impact. I'm not going to make content about it, but there is that community again. So it all comes back to just a sense of community. I really like that feeling, and I probably would have been one of those Vine creators had I A, known about it, B, had any sort of technical skills,
Right.
and C, did not have crippling ADHD based anxieties.
Right. Yeah.
So doing it here where it's live and I'm not worried about the metrics. It makes it really easy to just like, I'm just gonna log on. If I see people in chat, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Like I am succeeding in that moment. So oh god, the idea of like uploading shit to YouTube and like perform, like tapping the screen, like number go up, please.
Right. Yeah. No, I know that feeling
terrifying.
for sure.
I've done a couple of YouTube. So I actually did try to get into content before I got into content, which is a really weird way to say that. I started to do pack cracking videos. They did not do well. And I was like, well, this is not fun.
Right. Yeah. When you focus on numbers and you see them not moving or moving super slow, it can get to you too, and that can affect the whole like vibe of how you do things for sure.
Exactly. I see Agnes Day. Hi.
So you kind of touched on this already a little bit, but I just wanted to like give you a chance to like focus on it a bit. What do you feel makes your content stand out? Because it's Magic the Gathering, it's saturation, it's a sea of people making this content. There's 1,000 million people doing gameplay commanders and tons of people doing deck techs and builds and stuff. So what do you feel separates you? And it doesn't have to be like you're not saying like I'm the best, I'm this. It's like, but what do you feel that what are you putting in there, and how do you view it yourself?
So I think the feedback that I've gotten on the brewing with Benji specifically, because I don't want to say it's bread and butter, but we know what I'm essentially saying. Like that's
the start, that's the core of it.
Yeah, exactly. Is that it's just unlike anything else that's out there. It's a unique approach to deck building. It's a unique approach to Magic content, and even now, almost 3 years later, that is still the feedback, and I'm still able to fill my calendar and have people opt to spend it, and it's just an hour, right? Like as a guest, that's like perfect. Like it's like 90 minutes, but still, that is sort of like the sweet spot as a guest, where you're like 90 minutes feels good. I'm not overcommitting. I'm not scheduling something that could go way longer than we want it to.
Right.
It's again, concise, succinct is not quite the word I'm going for here, but we get what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, that works. Yeah.
So yeah, no, I think it's definitely the fact that it's just not nobody else is doing what I'm doing.
Right.
I'm just gonna.
I can't do it. I just got
listening. Who's not watching has no idea what I just did.
So, what is a piece of content that you've done that you are most proud of, and why? Whether it's a specific deck build or a specific thing, what is your crown jewel?
This is. I am very proud of this because of how dumb it is.
Okay. Nothing wrong with that.
And I'm gonna actually find it while I'm talking about it.
Okay.
And I will drop it in chat if that's okay.
Yeah, put it in the Discord, because like I have it so no one else can put links in.
It's gonna block me. Okay.
Yeah, but I mean I will gladly drop it in.
Yeah. So I have been fortunate enough to get preview cards for 2 different sets. So my first was for Outlaws of Thunder Junction, and which oh my god, I love that set so much. It's so good.
Yeah.
People are like, hack set, and I'm like, get out of my face.
Yeah.
But then I also, and it's so funny because this is a very poorly performing piece of content. But I am such a huge fan. I am multitasking like a mofo. How do I join the open chat? I'm going to put it in our little chat.
Yeah.
For the there we go. The second instance where I was lucky enough to receive a preview card was for Dragonstorm.
Oh,
and
sweet.
They gave me a legendary creature, and I was like, so I made this dumb piece of content where I just sort of drew from Vine jokes and put them into a video.
Okay.
And so in this, it's like really inspirational, and there's swelling music, and like I'm taking game actions, and it's Felithar, Dawn of the Abzan. So it's a whole bunch of counters. So you see me putting counters on stuff. And then I go into it. You remember the little girl who's like looking at all these birds, and she's like, look at all those chickens. And they're not chickens.
Oh, not really. But I mean, it sounds, I mean, I can totally understand like the vibe of it. Okay.
Yeah. So I put all these counters on things, and then it cuts to me going, look at all those tokens. And that's the joke, of course, is that they're not tokens, they're counters.
You're right.
And then, here I am showing my preview card. Again, very low viewership, but I'm so proud of it because, like, it's just so dumb. It's my humor. Like, if I had proper editing tools, it would look really polished, but it would be just as dumb.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, that's my vibe. So yeah, no, that's it right there. The
okay, that's awesome. No, I mean, it doesn't have to be like this. Oh, it's my super viral 50 million views thing. I mean, it's like it's what you're proud of. I get that completely. Yeah. So I think you may have just mentioned it inadvertently, or it could be something completely different. What is your hell yeah moment from being a creator? Something that made you feel like, not necessarily like, oh, I've made it, but yeah, like this helps almost validate what I've been doing. Like, okay, this moment, this cool thing, this acknowledgement from somebody or whatever,
So then I guess for me, the nice thing is that it feels like it's all peppered with those moments. Okay. So I'm going to give you 3.
Sure.
Very first one was when I started making content. I had posted on Twitter just to show that, we have since moved away from Twitter, but this was back when we were on Twitter.
Right, yeah.
I had asked, like, what sort of, like, if I did content, what would you want to see? And Bobby Christine actually answered, and she said, I want to see what you're excited to make.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want you to make anything that you don't care about, because then other people won't care about it.
Sure.
And that may not feel like a huge hell yeah moment, but it really was, because it was sort of like a big light bulb moment for me.
Right.
Where I was like, oh, wait a second. That makes total sense. And it made a huge difference, and it's basically what led to Brewing with Benji. Awesome. The second one was I got a content creator badge, MagicCon Chicago.
Very cool.
At the beginning of last year. Best viewers, but we already have those. You can't give us something we already have. Dumb.
Seriously.
Yeah, so I got a content creator, and it's not actually as much about the content creator badge. I went there with a very specific purpose, which was I was doing a meet and greet. And the idea was to take business cards with me that on one side I could write down people's deck prompts, because I was spinning them decks at the table.
Okay.
And I had people come back to me later and like share those lists with me that they had built. And I was like, oh, you took that seriously? That's amazing. And it's not like because not to diminish it, like, of course, like if people came up and they were like, yeah, go ahead and spin me a deck, that's taking it seriously.
Sure.
But what it was is they took that home and they're like, oh, I'm gonna do this.
Right.
And that was huge.
That's really cool.
And then it's a weird, humbling, but also really cool feeling. The third thing was the being able to preview a legendary creature.
Right.
And I have built Felithar, and I will never take that deck apart.
That's having to be able to do something like that is very, very cool. I can totally see that being. I can see all of those being a hell yeah moment. So let's crack open the personality bit. I love these two questions a lot that I ask. So, what part of your personality do you feel truly shines through with your content?
This is maybe not what people would expect, but I think my sense of humor.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm gonna flesh this out. I have something called RSD, which is rejection sensitive dysphoria. It's a condition where I can actually feel it physically.
Okay.
The idea that I might be rejected for something. It's a physical reaction to the perception of rejection.
Okay.
And doing content, being in front of people and failing, like it makes me lightheaded and dizzy, and like I feel like I could pass out if things go poorly. So it is difficult for me to be I don't want to say like it's difficult. I brag. I feel like I'm bragging.
Right.
When I talk about myself and I say I do this well, and you won't often hear me say that. You won't often hear me talk about myself in the way that like, hey, this is something I'm good at. I very rarely say those words. And it's taken me a long time to sort of say something that I feel like I'm proud of about myself or a piece of personality. We asked that, I would cry.
We got him, chat.
No, this is I got more points. Yeah, and so like it has taken me a long time to be more comfortable enough to say around people or even, you know, just in front of strangers that like, hey, I'm funny.
And you are.
And I think I am funny, and it's taken me a long time to I'm repeating myself because I'm nervous. So yeah, when I do content, I think people see that humor, and I may be a salty bitch, and people may see me get annoyed and whatnot, but I think they'll remember that I'm funny.
Yes, and I can confirm that like I enjoy playing with you because you are funny, and you are not only are you funny that, you know, you'll make good jokes and like comments and stuff, but you like to laugh, you know, so like you will, like when someone else makes a funny joke or comments, like you're right there. Like I saw you even last night, you're laughing at some of the stuff I was goofing around with and stuff. So that makes me feel good. Like, oh God, I got Benji to laugh. Awesome. You know? So I totally get that. And what's funny is you basically answered the next part of that with that, because the other half is that like, has being a creator helped strengthen a weakness or shown you something that you didn't know, like, you know, public speaking or whatever. So yeah, you answered that one because it's helped be able to, you know, promote yourself essentially and just be, you know, acknowledge your own strengths. And I think that's
just to add a little bit more onto that, because I think it's a fascinating thing when you have these sort of issues, these sort of mental roadblocks. When I started streaming, it was actually to DJ during the pandemic, because I couldn't obviously DJ out.
Sure.
Nobody, you couldn't go out.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna plug up my equipment to this, and I'm gonna DJ on Twitch, and I'm gonna play music for people, and they're gonna love it, and people are gonna show up and everything.
Right.
And I would freak out. I would literally start sweating when people weren't showing up. Or if like for whatever reason audio wasn't working. Like all the little things that we don't worry about as much anymore as creators, like, oh, audio's not working, okay, give me a second.
Right.
You know, like but then it was literally panic sweating. It's that sweat that smells bad. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
no, I get you. I've been there. I get you.
So yeah, it is
terror sweat.
A huge difference. Forcing myself to forcing myself to stick with this. It has made huge leaps and bounds to like how comfortable I am and how easy it is for me to like fuck up a little bit, and it's okay to do that, you know. Okay. Anyways, I'm done. I've answered.
But that's, I mean, that's, I don't think a lot of people acknowledge that. And it's one of the reasons why I like to ask those two questions in this series, is because, it's not just about being, on camera and doing the little, dance monkey dance, for entertainment. It's, it can actually help you. I mean, I'm certainly not trying to make this about me, but like when I made the Unskilled Commander, it was literally two things. It was, I was sick and tired of losing to my friends constantly, and I wanted something else that I could use to raise money for Extra Life. And I knew streaming, that was a good way to get donations and stuff. But like, that's why the origin of Unskilled Commander was me playing 4 of my decks against themselves by myself. So to test the decks and find out what was wrong with them. And, it has made me a better player. Like I can see the improvement in my deck building, and while I still totally forget triggers and all that, I remember them better than I did, and I'm looking at other people's triggers more. And
triggers are hard.
there's that little side portion of being a creator that you don't expect. This benefit comes out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so 2 more questions, because for those of you watching, we do have, Benji is going to be going into his actual brewing stream at 8:00. So we're going to lead up to that a little bit to let him go so he can get with his people. But so last 2 questions. If you could go back to the start of your creator journey with Magic, is there anything that you would change to make your life easier? It's not necessarily a if I knew now type of situation, just, oh man, if I knew that I could just edit this way instead of that way, like, oh, this would make editing easier, or this would make my sound better, or whatever.
That's an interesting question. Oh gosh. Honestly, I think I would just, and this is something I could work on right now too.
Mm-hmm.
Just talk to people. Don't be scared to talk to people. Because I'm scared to talk to people. Like, if you are a big creator in my eyes, I will probably not reach out.
Right.
But they are also just people making content. And like being reached out to is part of the job. So yeah, that is, I would probably attempt to make more connections earlier on if I were to start over.
Yeah, that's a really, really good one, and a valid thing, because I think everybody that starts out feels that way. They're like, well, I can't, I have to do this myself. It has to be me. I can't, God forbid I ask for help or reach out. All right.
Yeah, no, it's daunting.
So last question, let's wrap this up with, this is like, I like this. I think this is a semi-fun one. If Magic the Gathering went away tomorrow, like it had existed, but somehow the cards just poof disappear, there's no remaking it, would you continue to make content and switch to something else? Or would you say, you know what, I had a decent run being a creator, I'm just going to let that go and just move on to other stuff?
I would probably still seek out content. I have no idea what it would be.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely no idea. I've done a little video game streaming, and I find that to be weird. Fun, but like I've been playing Date Everything, and I've played that on stream like maybe 10 times. And I haven't played it since. And I know that there are people who are watching me play that who are like, I wonder when he's going to finish that game. But me, I don't tend to finish games. So it's one of those things where like if I were to go to just video game streaming, I'd be like, I don't want to finish this game, chat. I'm bored. I'm a little bored of Date Everything. Like, so I don't know. So that's a good question. I would definitely want to do something. It's just a matter of, I think the content that appeals to me is the stuff that it doesn't end, if that makes sense.
Right.
So like Pokemon it would probably be Pokemon, if I'm being honest. Pokemon doesn't end. There are just more Pokemon.
Yeah,
There
exactly.
and then when you think there's not more, there are more Pokemon.
Yes.
And then you pick up those Pokemon. There are more Pokemon underneath.
Yes. And now there's Pokemon of the same that you already knew, but now they're just slightly different.
Now they're different. Yeah, no. Thank you for not going. Yes, we understand the bit. You can stop this bit. But yeah, it would probably be Pokemon.
Gotcha. All right.
I have been Benji the Brewer. You can find me all the places where you can find Benji the Brewer. None of the places that you can't. And Brian, I just want to say thank you so much for asking me to be on this. This is a ton of fun. Thank you for asking questions that I don't think I had thought about yet.
Awesome. Cool. I like to hear that.
Yeah, that was good. That was good.